Hello, good morning. I'm in Tajikistan and I'm on the high Pamir plateau. I've been struggling, to be honest, up on this mountain range because it seems I don't work very well above 3,900 metres, which I think is about 14,000 feet above sea level. So if you look up at aeroplanes in the sky, then it's probably halfway between those aeroplanes when they're at the highest and the floor. And I'm fine at 3,900 metres, but then as soon as I get to, say, 3,930, my head starts to feel as though it's going to spin off. My lungs, I can't get enough air in my lungs, and I'm just gasping for air. It's like I'm having an asthma attack. And I can feel the strength in my legs when I'm going up the hills, but it feels like there's a really big bungee cord behind me just pulling me back, and every push I make on the pedal, I don't move anywhere, and I just feel as though I'm going back. And then, well, what happened at the last pass I got to 5 days ago, because I've been trying to acclimatise in a town for the past 4 days. What happened at the last pass is, it was only 4,100 metres, so it was only just above the threshold. And I got to the top, and it wasn't even really a top. A pass is when you go over the highest point between two mountains. And it wasn't even very high, it wasn't even very steep. But I got to the top and I couldn't think straight. I just sat down, and it was all downhill from there. I could see the downhill, but I just couldn't get back on my bike. I felt like I was going to pass out. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, to be honest. And there was no traffic on the roads. I'd passed maybe one car an hour, maybe not even that. And then all of a sudden a truck came around the corner and stopped and asked me if I was okay. And I didn't even know what I said to him. I just said, oh, blah, 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 blah. And he made me get in the truck and took me down. So that was good. And then I got down to this guest house and I saw this doctor. And I was in a right state. I couldn't move. I was shivering all over. And it wasn't even that high. I didn't get it. But anyway, I was shivering all over, and I was talking nonsense. And this doctor was there. She's been hiking, and she was really freaked out. And she's like, you can't go any further. You've got to get a car. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. And she gave me these tablets. And the tablets are Diamox. Now, apparently they won't stop altitude sickness, but because that's what I had, altitude sickness. They won't stop altitude sickness, but apparently they do something so you don't feel the effects, or I don't know, something weird. They stop water from getting in the lungs, and they stop you from having what's called a pulmonary embolism, which sounds serious. But she told me that if I can't cope with it anymore, then I shouldn't go any further. I should get a car, and it should take me over. The problem isn't the altitude; it's doing extreme exercise at the altitude. So you're pushing this bike that's really heavy up this quite steep hill when there's no oxygen in the air, and everything's kind of pushing you back. So anyway, I felt like shit that night. I woke up the next morning. I was still a little bit confused, but then I've been feeling better over the past 4 days. So as a combination of two things. One, I don't want to stop the continuity of the riding. The truck took me for 40 kilometres to the next town, which didn't seem that bad, and I had to be in that truck because there's no way I could have gone down. I felt like shit. So yeah, a mixture of that, not being able to not wanting to stop the riding, and also there is no traffic on this road going over the next pass, so I had to do it. There's no traffic between where I am now and Kyrgyzstan, which is 150 kilometres away. So I had to ride. So I rid yesterday to what I think is the foot of this next pass, but the problem is the pass where I got sick, and the pass before that where I got really sick, and I was all over the shop on the first pass. I didn't know what I was doing, and that was just a nightmare too. But there was nobody there to help me then. I just had to keep pushing, and it was just horrible. But anyway, I think I'm 15 kilometres now from the next pass, The first pass was 4,250 metres above sea level, and I was struggling on that. The second pass was 4,090 metres above sea level, which is naff all, and I was a mess on that. And now this next pass is 4,666 metres, so it's a good 500 metres above the last pass. And I'm going to do it now. I just thought I'd make a diary, not in case I die or anything, but just to see what it's like when I get to the top, and I can make another diary when I'm either really, really happy or really, really freaked out. So, yeah, it's 15 kilometres from here. I'm about to pack up my tent. The good news is the second pass where I had the problem was at 4,090 metres, and last night I camped at 4,160 and felt fine. So that could mean that I'm acclimatised, and it could mean that all's good. The only problem is I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning with the most excruciating stomach pains. I couldn't do anything. I got up and thought I needed the toilet. I didn't need the toilet. I tried to vomit, couldn't vomit. I lied back in my tent, it hurt even more, and I just kept getting up and walking around, but it was so cold. So I took one of these tablets, one of these Diamoxes, well, half of a tablet, because you're supposed to take half tablet twice a day. I took half a tablet, and in 20 minutes I felt better. Now, I don't know if this Diamox is just a really strong painkiller, so you just don't feel anything, even though you are suffering from it. That's what I'm worried about. So, just in case I drop dead at this pass, that's why I'm doing it, because I feel better. I don't think I will drop dead though. I think I'll be totally fine. I'm going to go up the pass, and I'm going to shoot down straight away. Yesterday, I didn't pass one car, or one car didn't pass me in my direction. I saw 3 trucks going in the other direction, but that was it. The whole day, no traffic on this road, which is absolutely brilliant if you're not suffering from altitude sickness and worried that no one's going to come and help. But I think I'll be okay, and yeah, here I am. I'm going to show you a little bit about where I am. This is where I camped last night on my camping stuff, and over there, can you see the wire fence? That's China. That's the Chinese border. How strange is that? I haven't seen any people on the Chinese side like guards or anything, but that's China. And then this is the road I'm going down today, and I think I'm going over the middle of those 2 mountains there. I think. And that's what I'm heading for now. Everybody I've met, they said, oh, the Pamir mountains, oh, they're the highlight of my trip, oh, they're brilliant. You've got to go to the Pamirs, they're the best. It's boring as hell. There's nothing here. It's just like this. Look. Just arid, kind of desert plateau with some mountains. The mountains are nice to look at. Over there, there's, you know, snowy capped mountains. That must be 6,000 meters, that peak. Everest is 8,000, I think. Over there's a bigger one. Yeah, the mountains are nice to look at, but there's nothing else here. There's no people. There's no plants. There's no trees. There's a few rivers. The rivers are nice, but rivers are rivers. So I don't know what everybody's hyped on about, but for me, the best bit about Tajikistan has been the valley gorges, travelling along the Afghan border, going between 2 really steep valleys, and there's just this one tiny little road clinging to the mountainside. So basically everything where there's vegetation and something to look at. That's been my favourite bit about Tajikistan. So if you ever come and do the Pamirs, make sure you cycle to the Pamirs rather than getting a truck up to the plateau and then cycling along the plateau, because for me the plateau's a bit rubbish. It's all about the valley floor. It's all about everything before the actual mountain plateau, the high plateau. So I'm whittling on a bit now because I haven't really talked to anybody properly for a couple of days, and yeah, I'll see you at the top of the mountain. Bye bye.